ChatGPT. Relate ACIM to the movie The Last Sin Eater. The Last Sin Eater through the lens of A Course in Miracles. The Last Sin Eater is a profound story about guilt, sin, forgiveness, innocence, sacrifice, and the longing to be free from the burden of the past. Through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACIM, it becomes a powerful allegory of the ego's belief in sin and the Holy Spirit's correction through forgiveness. At its heart, the movie asks, how can guilt be removed? ACIM answers, guilt is not removed by sacrifice, but by recognizing it was never the truth. The burden of sin. The entire community in the film lives under the weight of guilt. People carry secrets, shame, regret, fear. The belief in sin dominates their lives. ACIM teaches that the belief in sin is the foundation of the ego thought system. The movie beautifully exposes the suffering that comes from believing guilt is real. The Sin Eater. The Sin Eater symbolizes one of humanity's oldest beliefs, that someone else must carry away our guilt. The ego believes salvation comes through sacrifice. Someone must pay. Someone must suffer. Someone must bear the burden. ACIM completely reverses this idea. The Course teaches that guilt is healed through forgiveness, not transferred through sacrifice. The movie beautifully explores this tension. Projection of guilt. The villagers attempt to place their guilt outside themselves, onto another person, onto a ritual, onto a symbol. ACIM teaches that projection is the ego's primary defense. Instead of questioning guilt itself, the ego seeks ways to relocate it. The movie powerfully illustrates this mechanism. Innocence, hidden beneath shame. The young girl's journey is a search for freedom from guilt, not merely personal guilt, but the guilt that seems woven into the entire community. ACIM teaches that beneath every layer of shame remains innocence. The movie repeatedly points toward this deeper truth. The need for forgiveness. Throughout the story, healing begins only when hidden burdens are brought into the light. Secrets lose power, confessions emerge, truth is spoken. ACIM teaches that forgiveness brings darkness to light, where it disappears naturally. The movie beautifully reflects this process. The false god of punishment. Many characters believe God demands punishment, judgment, payment, suffering. ACIM teaches that God does not punish because love does not condemn. The movie repeatedly contrasts fear-based religion with a more loving understanding of God. The end of sacrifice. One of the strongest ACIM themes in the film is the realization that sacrifice is not salvation. The ego believes that suffering redeems. ACIM teaches that suffering is never required by God. The movie beautifully points beyond sacrifice toward grace, the release of the past. As forgiveness deepens, the hold of the past begins dissolving. The ego survives by preserving old guilt. ACIM teaches that forgiveness releases the past entirely. The movie powerfully reflects this healing. The recognition of innocence. The ultimate healing in the story comes through recognizing innocence where guilt once seemed to exist. ACIM teaches that innocence is not earned, it is revealed. The movie beautifully illustrates this shift in perception. The central reflection. The ego watches The Last Sin Eater and asks, who will carry my guilt? How can I pay for my mistakes? What sacrifice is required? The Holy Spirit watches The Last Sin Eater and asks, what if guilt itself is the illusion? Viewed through ACIM, the movie becomes a profound lesson about forgiveness, innocence, and the end of sacrifice. The Sin Eater symbolizes the ego's attempt to solve guilt without questioning its reality. The deepest message may be, the ego teaches that guilt is real and must be paid for through suffering or sacrifice. The Holy Spirit teaches that guilt is a mistaken belief that disappears in the light of forgiveness. Salvation comes not through paying for sin, but through recognizing that God's innocent creation has never been condemned. The end of guilt is the remembrance of innocence. Go to mwge.org to find some movie clips and a brief write-up by David Hoffmeister.